Well, we promised when we gathered here last summer to have the governor sign a bill on our behalf. We promised many more such gatherings. And what better day than Valentine's Day? Because this is a project that comes from the heart of our community. And it is a project that we are very proud to be associated with at Aurora University. We have the privilege of providing some of the energy that has created this wonderful project, but the truth is, it is all of us together who have created this momentum, this vision that will transform science and math learning in our community. So I'm thrilled, as the president of AU, to welcome you and to introduce some of our elected officials who are with us today. And the truth is that they have spent hours advocating for this. We are so grateful for the bipartisan leadership that comes behind this initiative. It is a wonderful endorsement in the power of learning to have people such as Linda Chapalavia and House Minority Leader Tom Cross and Representative Kay Hatcher and Senator Linda Holmes with us. Please join me in thanking them. Of course, the risk in thanking them is that I forget to thank so many others. And so let me also recognize some of our local officials who are with us today. Village President of North Aurora, Dale Berman, who is escorted by a lovely lady in a pink tutu. Thank you for coming. Sean Michaels, Village President of Sugar Grove. Our Mayor of Aurora, Tom Meisner. Village Trustee from Montgomery, Mike Browley. West Aurora School District Board President, Neil Ormond. And also the Board President from East Aurora, Annette Johnson. Now, the room is loaded with other dignitaries, so numerous, but I would thank especially my colleagues from our 4 school districts for being with us. This is a labor of love for all of us, and it is such a privilege to work with people from our 4 partner school districts, East and West Aurora, Indian Prairie, and Oswego. They are pioneering school districts in so many ways, and we're grateful for them and also for our wonderful colleagues from IMSA, and lest I forget, the intrepid AU faculty. Intrepid because they have followed one of our community's most brilliant, energetic, and tireless leaders. And so my real purpose here today is to introduce to you Dr. Sherry Eagle.
Well, thank you. This is very exciting, and I want to thank Dr. Sherrick for her continued support of this innovative initiative that will, I believe, will distinguish itself as a national model for students and teacher education in the field of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Today is a continuation of a story that began in 2008. A small group of community leaders from the Institute for Collaboration answered the call for change from a local philanthropic fund, the Dunham Fund. In February 2009, this small group of grassroots leaders took first place in that Challenge for Change contest. And in February, today, 2012, 3 years later, we again have earned first place by gaining the continued support of our inaugural partner, the Dunham Fund, and earning the respect and support of the Exelon Foundation. In January 2010, I had the privilege of being introduced to a man through Tom Cross who influenced my thinking about creating something you believe in and bringing it to fruition. Mr. John Rowe, the CEO of Exelon, sat with me and outlined a plan of what needed to be done to accomplish a goal. He's such a sincere leader who spent time in helping me, which takes some doing at times, to sit still and understand what he was trying to convey and how to implement the plan to make the STEM Partnership School become a reality. And through his modeling, I learned how to accomplish the goal. He told me to find your alliances and bring them on the journey with you, meet with them person to person to help them see the vision so that ultimately it will become their own. And he even supported the project with mentors such as Sheila Owens and Steve Solomon, who's here today. So today we have the opportunity to introduce two of those collaborative sponsors who have great belief in promoting the STEM education through the STEM Partnership School and its Mathematics and Science Education Center partners. So I can assure you that we will be meeting again, Dr. Sherrick, with other sponsors due to the efforts of these inaugural two. It is now my honor to introduce to you Mr. Frank Clark, Chairman and Chief Executive Officer from ComEd and a member of the Exelon Foundation Board. ComEd is a unit of Chicago-based Exelon Company Corporation. It delivers electricity to approximately 3.8 million residential and business customers across northern Illinois, or 70% of the state population, including my own home. Prior to his appointment as Chairman and Chief Executive Officer of ComEd, Mr. Clark served as President of ComEd and Executive Vice President and Chief of Staff of Exelon. And during Mr. Clark's 44-year career, he has served several key leadership positions. Mr. Clark serves on the Board of Trustees of the Museum of Science and Industry, Adler Planetarium and Astronomy Museum, DePaul University, the Chicago Symphony Orchestra, and the University of Chicago Medical Center. Mr. Clark is also on the board of the Illinois Manufacturing Association, Big Shoulders Fund, the United Way of Metropolitan Chicago, the Abraham Lincoln Presidential Library Foundation, and the Executive Committee of the Chicago Community Trust. Mr. Clark sits on the governing board of Econ Illinois and is a member of the Chicago Bar Association and the Economic Club of Chicago, the Commercial Club of Chicago, and the Executives Club of Chicago. He was also a committee member of Chicago 2016 and co-founder of the Roe Clark Math and Science Academy in Chicago. In 2008, this leader in U.S. Black Engineer and Information Technology magazine named Mr. Clark to its annual list of the 100 most important blacks in technology. Mr. Clark was also ranked among the 50 most powerful black executives in America by Fortune magazine in 2002. Mr. Clark received his bachelor's and his law degree from DePaul University. It's my honor to be able to say all those wonderful things about you and look right at you, because you certainly deserve our thanks and an applause for your achievements. And I introduce to this group Mr. Frank Clark.
Sherry, thank you so very much. When you hear all that, two things come to my mind. One, it's good to be standing upright to actually hear things that are nice about you. And then, of course, the other thing is, if this guy does all that, who in the world runs that company? My successor's name is Ann Parmaggiore, and she does. Yeah, she's wonderful. Yes. I want to reaffirm something Dr. Sherrick said. It's so very important. All these elected officials, the ones that toil away in Springfield, and by the way, all of you elected officials in Springfield, they get a lot of grief. They rarely get much glory. It's hard to get things done at a bipartisan way in the General Assembly in Springfield, just like it is in Washington, D.C. People have different perspectives. It's just really hard to get things done that everyone agrees on, but that's the way our legislative process works, and frankly, that's the way it should work. On the other hand, when something like this occurs and you get legislation, and I know you're going to hear from Tom Cross in a moment, one of the four leaders sponsoring this type of legislation, and you're able to go forward with this this wonderful STEM program at Aurora University that reminds me yet again, despite what appears to be a chaotic process and sometimes even unpleasant, it actually does work. You know, good things happen, and a number of our leaders are here. And as I said, we really should thank them all. All of the names were given to you. I don't need to repeat them, but also all the local leaders that are here. This is truly a collaborative effort. It takes a long time to get here, but I always believe like cream rises to the top. Something that's really significant that's going to make a difference in the lives of young people will eventually get done. And this is truly getting done. The Exelon Foundation is so proud to support this. And as I continue speaking, I'm going to ask Steve Solomon to come up here and join me at the podium. Steve does all the work. People like me and John Rowe make all the speeches and get all the accolades and our pictures in the papers, sometimes for even good things. Glad you picked up on that. But Steve does all of the work. And I wanted him to stand up here, and I wanted to acknowledge that the work of the Exelon Foundation is in his hands, and he steers it extremely well. There was a reference to a school that John Rowe and I founded. I would emphasize John Rowe is the CEO and chairman of the Exelon Corporation. And the Exelon Corporation is the parent company of ComEd and a number of other companies. John and I have a passion for education, a passion for science, a passion for technology, and a passion for everything that this program stands for. And it will continue to get our support long after both John and I retire, because it's really relatively close. Me at the end of the month, John probably a couple of months from now. But we have new great leadership and this kind of, and Steve is a young guy, he'll be here a long time. So it is really just a great pleasure to stand here and announce the $500,000 gift from the Exelon Foundation. Is exactly what the foundation stands for, is what we should be doing, and I just applaud all of you folks. I hadn't been out to Aurora in a couple of months, and as I was driving out here, you know, the only other place I go that I think about being in God's country is when I go out to Rockford. But this is a great community, and it's just, that was a compliment. This is a great community, and it's expanded so nicely, and you're just doing such wonderful things, and we're just really proud to be a part of this. Steve, I'm going to put him on the spot and let him conclude the program by making a few very brief remarks with the perspective of how the Exelon Foundation really feels great to be a part of what you're doing. Steve?
Oh, thanks, Frank. Totally unexpected, so this will be very brief. One of the goals of the Exelon Foundation is to invest in innovative math and science, or STEM, programming. The first time we met with Sherry and her team, we knew this project was going to be innovation. It is groundbreaking, and the Exelon Foundation is just so pleased to be able to make a $500,000 commitment to the school. And we wish you, Sherry, and everybody else involved really the best of luck with this project moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for those kind words and great support. It is now my honor to introduce the Vice Chairman of the Dunham Fund Board of Advisors, Mr. Michael Marcos. Mr. Marcos is my friend. He is a native Auroran and a proud graduate of School District 129, where his mother worked as an elementary school teacher. Jan Marcos, who is also a member of the Dunham Fund Advisory Board. Mr. Marcos has 17 years of experience in the financial services industry. He most recently was a senior vice president of Old Second Bank Wealth Management. He has appeared on CNBC, the Bloomberg Television, and Fox Business. And in July 2011, Mr. Marcos launched Clear Perspective Advisors, a financial management firm based in Aurora. Mr. Marcos has a bachelor's degree in economics from the University of Illinois, and he serves as vice chairman of the Dunham Fund Board of Advisors and also a member of the Greater Aurora Regional Chamber of Commerce. It's my pleasure to introduce to you Mr. Michael Marcos.
Good morning. Happy Valentine's Day, by the way. First, yeah, what I'm most proud of, I appreciate all those kind words, Sherry, but I was just a troubled student in West Aurora, and I'm very proud to be a Blackhawk graduate. Yeah, thank you, thank you. Although today, when you're 18, you're proud to be from a Blackhawk. Today, I'm happy to be part of Aurora community. But first, I want to say we have a couple of people. I'm here representing the Dunham Fund, but we have Wendy Hirsch and Mark Trumper here from our board, as well as Bob Vaughn, our executive director. And I can tell you, our entire group at the Dunham Fund is excited about this STEM school project. And we really appreciate and thank Sherry and AU for bringing their idea to our Challenge for Change competition in 2008. We want to congratulate them for meeting our challenge match by securing the funding from Exelon Foundation, and that today brings our commitment at the Dunham Fund to $500,000 as well with the matching grant for this initiative. And we also certainly want to thank Frank and Exelon Foundation for their commitment not only to this STEM school project, but to their investment in Aurora. We truly, truly appreciate it. We also acknowledge that, for this school to become a reality, we need additional funding from sources and from people like Frank and Exelon and from funders outside of our community. So we certainly welcome any funders who want to join our team and join this great project and bring a STEM school here to Aurora. Lastly, I want to say I can tell you with confidence and certainty that John Dunham would be very, very proud that he is involved on the ground floor of this project. John loved Aurora, and he was very appreciative that he was able to build his career and build and live his dreams here in Aurora. He also was really committed to excellence. John believed in a commitment to excellence like nobody I've ever known. And John believed that this university, the Aurora University, really embodied that commitment. And that's evidenced by the building next door that bears his name, by the Dunham Fund Scholars Program, which he started and Aurora University has continued to support, and by this very room, which bears the Dunham name. His former wife, Judy Dunham, is the name on this room. So I know John would be very proud, and really the credit goes to John and his commitment to Aurora. We're here just to fulfill his mission, which in his own words were to make the world a better and more safe place for mankind to live and prosper, and especially here in the community of Aurora is where he wanted to see that happen. And I know he'd be excited about what's going on. And thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Well, like Mr. Rowe, House Minority Leader Tom Cross has served as a mentor to me throughout this process. Never losing faith in it, he worked to broker relationships with critical business leaders to foster the idea of the STEM Partnership School and their fiscal and programmatic support of the initiative. He too had faith that it was about the face-to-face meetings that would make this idea become alive for others, and it was truly innovative and provided a new model for education in the state and the nation. Today, Representative Cross is here representing other state legislators who will all take their turn up here at times when we have different companies, because I know that will happen. But he's here today speaking on behalf of Senator Linda Holmes and Representatives Linda Chapalavia and Kay Hatcher, and others who have supported the passage of this bill through hours of work and passionate conversations. So in July of 2011, we had the governor able to sign it right here in this room. Representative Cross lives in Oswego and therefore directly represents the interest of the community that will benefit from this opportunity. But his belief is that it will position the state of Illinois to be a leader in STEM education with a replicable model for teaching and learning throughout the state and the nation. So it's my pleasure to introduce to you Representative Tom Cross.
Thank you. Frank Clark was kind when he said that the democratic process was healthy and that's the way it was supposed to work. I'm not sure the way it's working in Illinois right now is really the way it was supposed to work. But, and I think any elected official would tell you right now in Illinois, if they were being honest, that we struggle to find the positives in Illinois right now, regardless of our party, because we are going through some tough times. But today is an example, and this bill passing is an example of one of the good things that truly has happened in this state, one of the best things, I think, in a long, long time. And this would not have happened. This would not have happened without the leadership of these three ladies and women to my left. They did an incredible, incredible job. When we all knew it was the right thing to do, not everybody in state government figured that out early on. And Linda and Kay did. And while people blocked it and put up roadblocks time and time again, these three said, nope, we're going to find a way to get it done. And you guys are to be commended for some incredible leadership. Thank you. Incredible leadership. They stayed patient and they stayed and they persevered, and it was a lesson for me. I got a little frustrated with the process because I knew it was good. And I thought, why aren't other people getting it? So, ladies, thank you. I also want to just acknowledge the 4 school districts. A lot of emphasis on Aurora University, as there should be. But the leadership of the superintendents from those 4 school districts, one of them is the one I live in, says a lot about their style and type of leadership. It would have been easy to resist this, to say, wait a minute, we have good teachers and we have good curriculum and we have a good approach and we know how to do it. We don't need anybody else to work with us or partner with us or tell us how to do it. We get it. But they didn't do that. They said, we like the idea of a partnership. It will make our schools, our teachers, our kids even stronger. And you guys deserve a lot of credit for that. Thank you very, very much as well. Sherry Eagle came to me, I'm not sure when, and explained this idea to me. And it really made a lot of sense. And I said, well, I'm on board. Let me work with it. Then she said, well, we're going to have to raise a little money. And I said, well, how much money are you going to need to raise? I think she said at least $12 million. I'm thinking, keeping a straight face and telling her this is great. And I'm back here, I'm going, this is insane. $12 million? $12 million? And she said, well, we just got to start meeting people and explaining to them how great this is. And I'm thinking, yeah, right. Well, lo and behold, she had the support of the Dunham Foundation, which was a great signal to the world that there was some merit to this. And then, as she said, we went and we met with John Rowe and ComEd and Exelon and Frank Clark. And you heard the resume of Frank Clark, and John Rowe's is identical in that it's just diversity and strength and intelligence and an understanding of what needs to be done. And when John Rowe listened to Sherry Eagle, I thought we were going to have about 15 minutes. We ended up staying over an hour. And she kept going over all of the great things that were going to happen at Aurora University if we were able to raise the money and pass the legislation. And the fact that the Dunham Foundation and Exelon have stepped up this early with this amount of money says to everybody else, this is the real deal. This can happen. It needs to happen. Please come and support it. And indeed, that is happening. So, Frank, thank you very, very much. And to Michael and the Dunham Foundation, you have pushed this to a level where it needs to go. We will be the centerpiece for not only this state, I think for the rest of the country. People are going to come here and start looking at this laboratory, if you will, and say, this is what we need in our state. So to everyone involved, from the school districts to the legislators to the ComEd, Exelon, Dunham Foundation, to Aurora University with Becky, and I don't want to embarrass her, but to most of all, Sherry, you have taken this thing to an incredible level, and it is flying, and that is so exciting. So thank you all for being here. Thanks for all your support. Sherry, thank you for what you're doing.
Thank you, Tom. It's now my pleasure to introduce another professional friend and colleague, Mr. Neil Orman. Mr. Neil Orman is president of the Aurora West School District Board of Education, and he is here representing board members of the 4 school districts in this amazing project, including Ms. Annette Johnson, who's the president of the East Aurora School Board, who is here today. Mr. Orman is the former vice president of Quaker Oats and also the former vice president of W.W. Granger, Inc. He serves as chairman of the board of the Community Foundation of the Fox River Valley and as a member of the A+ Foundation for Aurora West. He also is a member and co-founder of the West Aurora Sports Boosters. Mr. Orman is a graduate of Aurora West School District, sorry. He received his bachelor's degree from Yale University and an MBA from Stanford University. Please welcome Mr. Orman.
On behalf of the Board of Education of School District 129, and also, in fact, on behalf of all of the boards of our 4 school districts partnering in this joint venture, I want to express our deep appreciation to the organizations being recognized today for their outstanding and innovative commitments to innovative STEM initiatives like this. We feel that this initiative is very important, certainly to our future elementary and middle school students and teachers. It's also important to our high school students and their teachers because of the impact that it will have on the curriculum throughout the district. It's important to future educators because they will have an opportunity as students here at Aurora University to be involved in this initiative. And it's particularly important to the communities we serve because it will be educating future citizens in some of the most advanced concepts of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, so that down the road they will be qualified to fill high technology jobs. We firmly believe that by helping to educate more local students to become valuable high-tech employees, we will make a major contribution to this region's business community and future economic development. All of this would not be financially feasible without the very significant support of the Exelon Foundation and the Dunham Fund. We are so grateful to the Exelon Foundation for being a leader in this venture. Their support will enable the Academy to stimulate energy education and conservation and stimulate interest and thinking on new forms of energy for the future. Hopefully, tomorrow's students will become the next generation of high-tech employees for progressive employees like Exelon. We are also extremely grateful to the Dunham Foundation. The Dunham Fund provided the initial stimulus that encouraged us to create this vision. Their faith in our grassroots initiative and their truly outstanding commitment to encourage innovative educational excellence in the Aurora communities in so many forms over these recent years has really been extremely significant. And finally, I want to express sincere appreciation to Aurora University, to Dr. Sherrick, to Dr. Eagle, and their staff. Their vision, creativity, commitment, and persistence in moving this concept along have been truly amazing. And on a personal note, as a lifelong Auroran and one who has resided within 3 blocks of the campus just about my entire life, I am so proud to be part of a community that possesses such a rich resource as this vibrant institution of higher education, one that truly values higher education throughout the entire system, K through the college years. And it understands the importance of partnerships and teamwork in maximizing the development of its young children. This academy will serve not only as a magnet for students in the 4 school districts, but also for parents who want to give the best possible education to their children and who will choose to reside in the Aurora area and keep it a vibrant, thriving community. So thank you to everyone responsible for today's announcement. We look forward with excitement to the future growth and flowering of the STEM initiative. Thank you very much.
Dr. Kathy Burkett is representing the 4 school superintendents who are here today supporting this initiative. Dr. Jerome Roberts from the East Aurora School District, Dr. Jim Ryland, Aurora West School District, Dr. Dan O'Donnell from the Oswego School District. You're right, they are definitely visionary leaders who have made a commitment to join together to create something that will be an opportunity for all. Dr. Burkett is the superintendent of the Indian Prairie School District, and as a 30-plus year employee of that district, she has served in many capacities, including a high school teacher, an elementary principal, and the first principal of the Neuqua Valley High School. She serves on multiple boards throughout the community, and she has earned her doctorate in educational policy and leadership from Northern Illinois University. It's now my pleasure to introduce to you Dr. Kathy Burkett.
Wow, well, any program has a closer, and I'm it. So there's some good and bad in that. I'm sure you'll be fascinated by anything that I have to say, but I'm also the only thing that stands before you and whatever you have next. And I recognize this is a very, very busy group. I am honored to represent the 4 superintendents as we work very closely together. We have a great relationship with each other, and we are very excited about this STEM magnet. Extremely excited about that. I also, like Tom Cross, who mentioned, I remember when Sherry initially had the conversation with us a few years ago, and I thought to myself, yeah, we're going to get $12 million. That'll be great. And now we are moving down that path. I cannot thank enough the Dunham Fund for all that you have done from day one. On behalf of the over 70,000 students that we represent, I cannot thank you enough. And you need to know that's where my heart goes first, and that's where all 4 of our hearts go first, are to our kids. And on behalf of those kids, so for all of you from the Dunham Fund, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. And certainly to Exelon Foundation, what a phenomenal gift, and we cannot thank you enough either. It is a wonderful opportunity to now pull so many groups together and make this move forward for our students. Because the bottom line is, you know, it sounds so cliche, but those students are our future. And we will not be around when they are doing phenomenal things and making phenomenal decisions about how the world moves forward. And it's going to be incredible to watch, and I'm very excited to watch it. And I want both the Dunham Fund and Exelon Foundation to know that you are at the very root of that and can take great pride in that as we move things forward. To our legislators, I don't even pretend to understand what all of you do. And believe me, since I've become superintendent, I have tried. But I have to tell you, this is one time in which the bipartisan work that was done, the way that you work together, the way that you support, and you were always thinking about our kids. And I know you were, because I heard many of the impassioned pleas that you made. I can't thank you enough, because that means so much to us as well. And finally, to Aurora University, to the city of Aurora, who have been behind this from the very beginning. Dr. Sherrick is a visionary leader, certainly has been done a wonderful job of meeting with us and working with us as we've worked things through, you know, bringing 4 districts together, particularly at these times when some of us are struggling a little bit, has been she's done a phenomenal job of that. And Sherry, obviously without your vision and the work that you've done in talking to so many people, we would not be standing here. So on behalf of our over 70,000 students, on behalf of our communities, which number far beyond those 70,000, we certainly want to thank all of you. And there are many other educators in the room. I wish I could introduce each of you individually, because it's going to take the educators sitting down for those future educators. And as we get that professional development and we continue to improve our instructional performance, which is a big piece of this, and then affect student achievement, that's going to make the real difference. So thank you very much.
Well, the idea is that everyone under the roof of this place, under the roof of the school, will be a learner. And their growth in content knowledge will all be evaluated on a yearly basis. So everyone is going to be learning, the teachers in this that will be involved in the project, as well as the students. And the goal is that a person and professional student and teacher who is knowledgeable about their content will indeed be able to be successful in high school and beyond, ultimately to become very citizens that will make a great contribution to the communities in which they live. Hopefully, they will continue to live in the communities in which we reside. Mr. Clark and Mr. Marcos, I'd like you to come forward for just a moment. We want you to proudly put these plaques up in your offices because we believe that it's important to note that you've made these contributions to us, and you have a rendering of, or actually the first rendering of what the school potentially would look like. So the certificate is awarded to the Exelon Foundation in recognition of its generous contribution to the STEM Partnership School at Aurora, and it is signed by Dr. Sherrick and myself. So thank you very much. Okay, make sure you do a lot of work on that. And the certificate is awarded to the Dunham Fund in recognition of its generous contribution to the STEM Partnership School at Aurora University, signed by Dr. Sherrick and myself. All right. Another person that deserves a big thank you, and I know she is my pal and the director with me through this project, along with all of our partners, and that's Christine Crouch, who also deserves a big round of applause. And to Aurora University's public relations staff. So I want everyone's word that we will return shortly. I know you know the place now. This is the room. You know how to get here. We'll try to reserve the parking again. And we will return again for our next press conference. But it's due to the efforts of the Exelon Foundation and the Dunham Fund, who gave us our inaugural visit and boost so that we can continue to work hard to launch this and make it successful. So thank you very much today. Mr. Clark, it's an honor and privilege to have met you today. Mr. Marcos, equally the same. You represent your organizations in a very exemplary manner. And we want this school to be associated with both of you. So thanks.